Hi guys, let's just get a quick market briefing in. We've got a hell of a lot going on today. We've already had a very good JP Morgan earnings report. Last night we had a very good Intel earnings report. This is why we are making new 12-month highs. So, you know, it's all bullish. Let's just first of all talk about Intel. Announced after the closing bell last night. Their Q3 earnings came in at 33 cents per share. We had been expecting 27 cents, so better than expected. Their revenue came in at $9.4 billion, and we were expecting $9.05 billion, so that was better. They see their Q4 revenue being higher than previously expected by about $500 million. Well, more than that, by 1 to 1.5 billion more than previously expected. They see their year capital spending at $4.5 billion. The CFO sees recovering PC market and says tech sector leading the way out of the downturn. So, I mean, Intel really couldn't have come in with a better report. A fantastic earnings report last night after the closing bell. That's what gave us the spike here on the chart. I'm looking at a 1 hour chart because I wanted to show you this uptrend line that I've got here. This is where the Intel news came in, and we spiked from around about 1070 right up to 1081.50. Okay, we then retraced, and overnight we were kind of ranging around just underneath 1080. Of course, this morning we boosted higher from the JP Morgan news. We had a rumour this morning calling an earnings per share for JP Morgan at 65 cents. We had been expecting 51 cents. The numbers came out even better than the rumour, well, much better than the rumour. So the numbers were 82 cents earnings per share. We'd been expecting 51, so much better there. Revenue was better, 28.8 billion versus the 25.13 that we've been expecting. The reason why we're not a lot higher is because the CEO Diamond added some comments that gave a slightly bearish tint, and he was saying that he saw credit costs remaining elevated. He also said that he was unsure whether consumer credit stability signs will continue. So slight negatives to an otherwise fantastic report. Their share price up over 3% in pre-market trading. So the two earnings reports we've had since yesterday's close have been fantastic. Okay, this is why we're higher. Check out some of the other markets. Gold at a new all-time high again today, traded up to $1,071. Oil is traded new 12-month highs today, above $75. The dollar has been very weak. Euro dollar in particular has set new highs for new 12-month highs as well. So all markets really breaking through significant levels this morning because of these earnings reports that have come out, and they're very bullish. Okay, we're still expecting Abbott Labs, and we're still expecting Morgan Stanley reports today, due we think at 1 p.m. Now, in the backdrop to these hugely important earnings reports, we of course we have some very important economic data as well. So retail sales at 1:30, import price index at 1:30, business inventories at 3 o'clock, FOMC minutes at 7. Okay, this is one of the busiest days I think I can recall in recent memory. It's a phenomenally important day for the markets. Could easily be the day that really kicked off the next major leg higher for these markets, assuming the majority of these announcements come in better than expected. Of course, there's still downside risk. I don't see the earnings reports disappointing, although having said that, Morgan Stanley have certainly had a tougher time over the last 12 months than a lot of their peers. So it'll be interesting to see what numbers they come up with. In terms of upside resistance, now we found resistance at R3. You can see on my chart here at 1085.75. Okay, that was the resistance we met following the JP Morgan numbers. above there, we've really got nothing until we get to 1100, which of course is a psychological level. Now this is why I've got this trend line on my chart here, because that's pretty much the last decent resistance that this market has to offer before 1100. So if we do get all these announcements aligning to the bullish side, 1100 is certainly within range today, but we've got to get through this trend line first. Obviously it depends on what time we get up there, but it will be between, you know, sort of 1087 and 1090 depending on timing. The resistance will come in from this trend line, and really above there 1100, you know, it's a pretty clear road. So if these announcements come in and they all align pretty much in a bullish way, then we can certainly get to 1100 today. However, you know, there's downside risk, and the retail sales number in particular is one that we're going to be looking at very closely. And of course business inventories, in terms of the economic recovery story, these numbers are pretty important. So there's still a lot of fundamental news flow to hit this market today, so it's still way too early to be calling 1100 as a certainty. It's a possibility, but equally we could easily drop back down to, you know, the sort of 1070 area where we were ranging for a lot of yesterday. Okay, that's kind of midpoint of yesterday's range, around about 1070. So if some of this news starts coming in negatively, that's where we're going. Okay, but there's a lot of fundamental news that's going to pull this market around today. We think we're going to get a lot of action, and really we've got almost a 30-point range as to where this market could get to, or even bigger, 40-point range where this market could get to today. Of course tomorrow we've got some very important earnings reports as well, as we have on Friday, so a lot of action this week. So today, one of the busiest days in terms of fundamental news flow that I can remember. So a lot of significant levels broken in many of the markets across the asset classes. So we need to focus in on those. Oil trading below 75 at the moment at 74.80. The high of the year then is 75.18, set earlier this morning. Euro dollar has retraced back below 149, having set 12-month highs. Okay, so keep your eye on these markets, keep your eye on the dollar index, keep your eye on oil and gold, and of course the fundamental news flow from these earnings reports and economic data releases will be what drives this market. Are we going higher? Are we going to retrace some of the gains we've seen in the last 6 or 7 days? It's still in the balance, but if we go on Intel and JP Morgan, I don't think you could get much better earnings results than those guys have announced. So it's pretty good so far on the earnings side. Let's see how we get on. Good luck.